Well, a huge welcome out there to everybody tuning in. My name is Webbo, and this is the Neverlastracing Esports Team Cup event, and we have 10 teams racing against one another across this season of racing for a cash prize in the end. And currently, we have Relentless sitting at the top of our standings on 98 points. They're driving the Mercedes. In the McLaren is the Excel Esports team on 91, just 7 behind. Then we have Red Bull, driven by Elite Racing Team on 74. Evora have 55 points in the Haas. The hosts, NLR Esports, on 45 in the Aston Martin. And then we have ADRT, CPI, IRT, ARC, and DTR all racing with us and looking to move up that leaderboard as soon as they possibly can. It's great to be back with you. We've been waiting. We've been missing a whole month due to that triple header on in real life Grand Prix racing, of course. We're heading to Paul Ricard in the sunshine right now for a race. We've got 20 runners with you, of course. As an esport race, our drivers are allowed to nominate any of, I think, 15 drivers on their roster to get going. And we will be underway very shortly for you with full qualifying. Q1, 18 minutes of Q1 getting going. And we're underway for you very shortly. Hopefully, if you're just joining us and there's a small lull before while our drivers get their setups fixed and organised, you can head back to the start of the channel. The video right now, and you can hear the championship situation. Some different drivers racing with us tonight that we've not seen, I think, yet. Khalifa stands out for me, as well as Henry. We've not seen Isaac in the AlphaTauri there. I don't think we've seen Zwedima, and I think Joan. I think Joan is someone I have commentated over, but has not taken part in this cup just yet. And out there, first on the track, is not what you would normally expect to see. Sparks out there, who's almost always first on the track, but it's actually Leroy. Leroy now in the Ferrari team, representing, of course, ARC Esports on the joint bottom of the standings right now. ARC with Delta T, so they'll be hoping for a much better run through this race. Still, it's early days in the championship, only round 4. I think it's a 10-round championship. Forgive me if I've got that one wrong, but you're very welcome, everybody joining us on the stream. Great to have everybody here. Do let us know who you're here to support, unless of course it's obvious by your YouTube handle. Look forward to taking part in this one. I'm slightly unexpectedly on my own today for qualifying, for commentary. So yes, if you see something on the stream or you see a strategic option that I'm not commentating on or not looking at, do feel free to let me know. But it's Leroy who starts our first attack lap on the start-finish straight here in Paul Ricard. Beautiful conditions as he pulls the car towards turn 1, the S de la Verrerie, and a sort of mini drag down to Virage de l'Hôtel. Looking for drivers to get out of his way. Mr. BT ahead is in Ducamp corner. Now we'll be drifting through Saint-Bohème, which takes a long time to get round and get on the traction for the Mistral straight here, heading into Chicane du Nord, looking for our braking point. Very, very late on the brakes is Leroy. I swear that was virtually 55 meters. And back on the throttle once again. Heading down towards Sanya. Flat out right-hander in optimal conditions. Slight lift if you're following another driver or you're in a situation with reduced grip. And down into the double right of De Beausset. Now we're heading into Bendor corner, into the final sector. This is Galabin steady left-hander. Now De La Tour, and then into Dupont, the final corner. There is an ADRT driver right ahead of him. That won't worry him too much. Fairly short corner, not one to lose a huge amount of pace. The start-finish line comes up and it's a 1:29.574 out there for Leroy, the first time lap we've seen today. We've got an Alfa Romeo, I think it's Mr. BT. He's currently on an outlap, so we'll concentrate here on Isaac. Isaac has invalidated, unfortunately. That may have been through Chicane du Nord. I'll admit I was looking down at my notes for a second. Russell then for the hosts NLR. The hosts currently sitting in the middle position in our championship, and hoping to try and get through here. I hate to say it, folks, but I think I don't have live chat. Here we go, back with live chat. Excellent stuff. Good to have Harley, the boss, as NLR crosses the line here. 1:30.055 with Nathan, typically a very, very quick time, a whole second faster than Russell on this first run. Sparks is invalidated. What about Robbie? That is risking an invalidation there on the right-hander, but he just about holds on. Just finishing the lap off here. Into the final corner, Dupont a little way off the apex and accelerating to the line then. So Robbie a 29.866 as Car Mentalist goes P3 as well, 6/10 off his teammate who's leading the way at the moment. Down here we've also got Jackson, who has invalidated sadly. Zuidema, apologies if I haven't pronounced that correctly. Zuidema for XL, currently second in the championship, the McLaren driving XL. Getting the car into Chicane du Nord safely. All about getting a good banker lap in here, but with the pressure of not being in the bottom group, it's definitely pressure time for teammates. They certainly don't want to go out in Q1. Hey to Letzi, hey to Mark, Jav, Passe and Cad, who are all here to support their respective teams, of course. Good to have you all with us. It's a pleasure to be part of this one. So, Zuidema closing out the lap now. It's got an Aston Martin ahead of him. That will be Reapers, I think. So, heading to the line then for Zuidema. And that's a slowest time yet on medium tyres, a 1:30.414. The only point to really be running mediums here is to take advantage of someone who has invalidated a lap or crashes out, pushing too hard too early. Daniel's also made a mistake on that lap. So Jackson then, Jackson finishing off here for our ARC team in the Ferrari. Very appropriate colours for them. So heading off here and to the line for Jackson. It's a P4, nice lap from Jackson, but currently that's ARC and Relentless leading the way. First and third for Relentless, second and fourth for ARC. Who else is actually running a lap? Sparks cannot get this finish. Sparks spins out. He'll be grateful for all of that trackside high abrasion paint, because making that kind of mistake on any other track, and that would see you out of qualifying quite convincingly. So Daniel for the Alfa Romeo CPI team. Daniel then on an attack lap. Jackson, I think, is on his way into the pits. Funky Chickens here for Relentless. Got a good audience on this one because we choose these. Harley chose the non-Grand Prix weekend, so we're trying to help you fill that terrible gap that we all have in our lives on a Sunday that doesn't have a Grand Prix in it. So Daniel getting into the into Chicane du Nord comfortably, just looking for that first banker lap, but leaving the first attempt a little bit late here. Needs a nice smooth transition through the lap into De Beausset. Now we're into the Bendor corner. Currently the car looking pretty planted for Daniel. Getting slightly loose there into De La Tour. Now it's just Dupont absolutely on the ragged edge of invalidation, just skating that line. And Daniel to the line then. It's a 10th place, 1:30.030 for him. And congratulations for getting that lap in safely. Black Mamba on a lap as somebody just goes fastest. It's Neo for XL. And I do enjoy the fact that some of our drivers put their team name first off in their gamer tag. It definitely helps from a commentary perspective. Black Mamba getting a monster tow up the Mistral straight. Shaby out of the way, clearing out one of those braking markers. I don't think he had much of an option there, but that will be frowned upon if it is a deliberate action. I'm pretty sure it's not though. So for DTR, who currently sit joint bottom of the standings, DTR needing a good race today. Black Mamba, the seas parting for him in terms of traffic, and it's going pretty well so far this lap. Again, just on the absolute edge of an invalidation, just pushing super hard at this stage. Black Mamba missing the apex on the final corner. Looks like the best of the tyres have gone. And away to the line then. Black Mamba, where does this one see him get so far? Exactly halfway up the grid, a P10 on a 29.917. So currently with about half of, well, just over half of qualifying done, Neo leads the way out there with a 28.991 and no other driver in there except for Henry, who's just gone in on a 28.890 and a new pole position time. I should say top of qualifying time, really, shouldn't I? But yeah, Henry with a good one, getting a good lap in. And what about Sparks? Because he made a mistake on that on both his attempts to put a lap in earlier on. So let's ride with Sparks as he makes it into the second sector now. Sparks usually right up there, and pressure starting to build with 6 minutes to go in Q1. Remember that there are points for the Q3 placings for this Esports Cup. It's a novel idea and really helps to pile the pressure on for qualifying. So Sparks into Sanya. Now De Beausset just begging that car to come towards the apex. Very nicely done into Bendor. Very, very late apex, using every inch of the road. The penultimate corner dealt with happily. Again, leaving a slight margin to the apex. But usually that means the tyres have been shredded on this lap. Sparks then for the line. Will this be? It's a P13. Most out of character for Sparks there. Very unusual to see him in that position on the track. Let's see, anybody pushing right now? I think Russell might be. Russell, quarter of a second faster than he's been before. His best time currently a 30.0. So he needs to gain quite a lot. But the track will be evolving even through this short Q1 session. Russell just easing the car through Sanya, least resistance possible, takes an early apex on the first part of De Beausset, running it wide, and unfortunately that's an invalidation on the outside. Joan is going faster here, half a second faster than he's been before. Welcome everybody joining us. If you want to hear the current championship standings, just when there's a quiet moment, head on back to the start of the video and you'll see I'll read out all the championship standings. But relentless lead from XL with Elite Racing Team in third. Joan then for ADRT, currently sitting in the middle of the championship. Heading to the line. What's this one for Joan? It will be better, but how much better? It's up to P8 at 29.547. I think you'll be pretty pleased with that one. But on a lap right now is Nathan. Nathan just finishing this lap off. He's positive at the moment. Where will this get Nathan? For Relentless, he stays second. I think that final sector not particularly special. Let's see what Reapers has got. 3 minutes to go now, so really is last chance saloon for the drivers out there. So Reapers should get an update shortly into Chicane du Nord, right across that apex. Very comfortable with the car here. Reapers currently P4, 29.165. We're weaving down the main straight. I don't know if we're not really paying attention or we're not really on a push lap. I think perhaps we're not really on a push lap here. So it's quite unusual to see Reapers up to that kind of antics. Yeah, and he's heading out there. So what is Isaac doing? He's nearly a second faster than he's been before, but not happy with the lap. I think there's a problem on the way through there. So Isaac P7 at the moment. Let's head down and see one of our IRT drivers, Rex, just finishing up his next attempt. I see Neo on his way out, so we'll try and catch Neo's lap in its full as Rex to the line. Rex from 17th up to 9th. So currently in the danger zone, Black Mamba, Sparks, Daniel, Russell and Zwidima. No one would have predicted Sparks to be having trouble here today. Where is Black Mamba? And possibly more importantly, where is Neo? Neo is on the Mistral Straight, just getting a tow from his teammate. So let's see if is that Russell just starting a lap? It is, yeah. I'm keen to see where our drivers are pushing at the moment. Looks like everybody on outlaps pretty much. What's Isaac? Yeah, he's done with his lap. We know Reapers, so might be better to try and focus now on... Mr. BT has retired from the session, so won't go any faster than a 29.551. And here comes Neo then, from second currently. Perhaps it's possibly more important for us to be watching his teammates Redeemer, who is looking to try and get himself out of the danger zone, and he does so into P10, so that was pretty handy for him. Let's head down and see what Russell is able to conjure up. A 3/10 improvement so far on this first sector. So about to get the update for the second sector, and it's a 6/10 improvement. This could be good. This could be enough to see him safe. Russell just needing to hold this one together. Hold the line. Russell, hold the line. Some support coming in for Car Mentalist from a teammate, Mark, I think. Car Mentalist right on the bubble. And Russell's lap currently looking better. Better enough to get him safe. Russell just needs to hold on now. One more corner, which is Dupont. And away we go to the line. How much better is this one from Russell? Is it enough? It's up to P7 at 29.2. That's a massive improvement for him. Let's see what... so Car Mentalist currently just finishing his final lap. Car Mentalist didn't get a quick update on his lap. This will be a surprise to me if he gets there. Henry currently leading, but Car Mentalist, can he get himself out of trouble? He's in 10th now. Much better lap from Car Mentalist. Sparks, the one that is of no surprise, nobody expecting Sparks to be in this particular position. Sparks now into the end of his lap. We've got Robbie, who will not have another attempt. Robbie will be starting at the back, and Sparks has done it again. Incredible stuff to see Sparks making the exact same error as last time. And across the track, he just gets out of everybody's way. I'm pretty sure someone might feel like that lap was ruined. Black Mamba's lap has been ruined as well, possibly by himself. Where does Daniel come? Daniel, no improvement for Daniel, so I think we have got our tail of the field. We've got our eliminated drivers. I don't think anybody's going to manage to put this one together. Leroy just finishing off his final lap. He's going to be safe regardless of what happens. No one's going to go faster. Shaby retired from the session, but Leroy with a nice time there, just a little confidence booster going into Q2. But Q3, we'll see Jackson, Daniel, Black Mamba, Robbie, and shockingly Sparks out of this one. And Jav says, is that back-to-back Q1 exit for Sparks? Well, Sparks, absolutely, honestly, I'm in shock, because normally he's so nailed on for Evora, but I'm sure he will regroup and get himself back into the right mindset for the race. But unfortunately, he has to spectate the next 2 sessions just like the rest of us, and will be completely cold going into the race. So that looks to be our Q1 done, and so no points will be scored in qualifying for Q1 and Q2 exits, and then of course points for the top 10 qualifiers. Just to says Sparks, I have to tell you, he's a very good driver, so not quite up there, no. But anyway, Henry for ERT gets the provisional top time in qualifying there, with Neo in second, Nathan for Relentless, and Reapers there for the host team at neverlastracing in 4th place. Then the second ERT car for Khalifa, followed by Leroy, Gelato, Russell, Isaac, Shaby, Carmentalist, Rex, Redeemer, Joan, and Mr. BT. But we lose Jackson, Daniel, Black Mamba, Robbie, and Sparks out of our qualifying 1. But we'll be heading on there for our Q2 session. And I'll just check in with the driver chat and see if there's any interesting things I can bring you from an update. Another dry session it looks to be for us here in Q2. I wonder who will be our first driver out there. So predictions, please, for this Q2. Sparks saying he got called up late for this one, so hasn't had a lot of practice. So that kind of explains things a little bit, if anybody is familiar with Sparks' pace usually. Looks like Isaac happens to be, I think, possibly the first one out of the pits, is he? Let's go and join. Maybe not. I think it might be his teammate. Here we go. So Isaac out there with his teammate just behind him, in fact. So looking to try and get a good early session in. Just 15 minutes now. Of course, the time reduced down to 15 for our Q2 session. Just about time for 2. For 3 runs, if we're super efficient. Of course, we will potentially see a lot of drivers cutting through off track to minimise the journey time back to the pits as well. Evora, sorry, Exceller out there. We've got, I think, Carmentalist on his way out too. But this is interesting to see ADRT coming out together with for a coordinated run. It needs to be very carefully managed if they're going to be towing each other down the Mistral Straight. Very easy to lose time in the following car that you gain under slipstream. So Isaac just getting himself into the final couple of corners. Cross then to start the next lap. Isaac will be parting the air particles for his teammate who runs behind him. In fact, his teammate, he's dropped down quite considerably, quite far behind him, so no tow at this point. Isaac will be pleased to see no driver coming out of the pits right in front of him. It's got a nice gap here. We go down to Verrerie, and now this is L'Hotel corner. Nice wide line through Saint-Bohème. So heading down to Chicane du Nord for the first time. How's this one looking? Again, goal number 1 of this session is to get yourself a banker lap in. Medium tyres. Everybody wanting to start on the medium tyres, apart from possibly Svedima. We'll see if everyone can get through on mediums. Of course, that will be their race start tyre. Looking a little bit tardy on the way into De Beausset. Bendor corner, late apex. Easy to invalidate on that exit curb. Nice line going into De La Tour. The final corner, Dupont on the way out. Away to the line we go. First time lap in Q2 is a 1:30.232. Let's see who else is currently on a lap. I think we've got an Aston Martin who has invalidated. What is ERT car doing at the moment? He's on an out lap, so looks like Gelato just part way round the course. This is Redeemer. To the line then for Redeemer. This is a 29.379, fastest lap so far by a good healthy chunk of time. Car Mentalist comes in with a 30.428. Just the difference on the soft and medium tyres at the moment, showing us 9/10 between Zedima and the ADRT driver Isaac. Another medium driver here, Neo. I wonder if any of the teams will be splitting their strategies. This one appears to be a split strategy at this point in qualifying. Let's see where Neo comes. He's second place. Again, a long way away from his teammate in terms of single lap pace. And the time's coming in now. Leroy on third place. There we've got laps just started from the ERT team, but an invalidation already from Henry. So Khalifa next to take up the run. Is Henry going to try and give his teammate a run down here? Needs to get out of his way though. Just about hanging on into Sanya at full throttle. Khalifa dealing with that situation well. The ERT team coordinating that one nicely. Into the Bendor corner. Very late downshifts, just using the engine to drag the car into the apex. Very nice indeed from Khalifa. Had plenty of tyres left at the end of this one. Where's this going to leave him though relative to the front runners? It's P5, a 30.085. Looks like perhaps medium tyres definitely showing a difference in the pace order on our drivers, whereas Nathan, he's second again on mediums, a 29.678. That's more like it, much closer to the front runners. Car Mentalist at the bottom of the time so far that we've actually had posted. Let's join Gelato for Evora. Nice to hear from Dexter, who's there. And see Shifters Merxy is back, watching along. And Sean, nice to have everybody joining us. We are in Q2, approaching the halfway point of Q2. Just the first runs coming in at the moment. Gelato then for Evora, a lone Evora driver in Q2, heading to the line, and it's a P4 for Gelato. Nice time there, 29.819, just 4 thousandths of a second slower than Neo in P3. Is Henry currently valid on this lap? He is. So I wonder if he's feeling these tyres any better this time out. Again, lots of grip going into the final apex. Tells me he's left enough grip for the end of the lap. And in he goes at P3. Nice time, 29.727 on medium tyres. Just Zwiedima, Isaac and Carmentalist, who've gone on softs at the moment. And if that is their fastest lap, that's not going to buy them a great deal of performance in the race. So they'll be wanting to do a better lap on mediums and hang with the rest of the strategy options that are showing here. Joan then for ADRT. His teammate getting out of the way. I'm not sure that was quite perfectly timed. Joan looked like he had a couple of attempts to turn in comfortably. Hey to Ivan, the Flying Croat. He's here as well. Into Sanya. So into Debose comfortably there. We'll see how this time fares with the rest of the drivers. His teammate has a 30.230 at the moment. It's looking a little bit quicker perhaps. Bright sunshine here in the south of France. Should be optimal track conditions very shortly. A 30.023 for Joan. Very slightly faster than his teammate. Looks like Henry might be going round for another lap possibly. Shaby's not on a lap at all, but it looks like Russell might well be. Reminder, if you are one of the teammates watching along, do share this this footage on Twitter, because we're about to hit point scoring Q3 very soon. Russell on the way into the pits, unfortunately. Won't finish that lap out. I think everyone now waiting for that opportunity, apart from possibly Mr. BT, who's looking for a nice traffic-free run here to attack the lap. He's just on an out lap at the moment. Make sure you subscribe to neverlastracing so you don't miss a race. Well, we've had a big break over the last month. They will come thick and fast, the races, especially after Christmas. And make sure you've subscribed to the channel and follow neverlastracing on Twitter. You can also find me there at WebberRed5, where you'll see all my races that I post. I post live stream links on every race I do. Mr. BT then for CPI. We haven't given a lot of screen time to CPI just yet, my apologies, but we'll watch a lap with him shortly. Yeah, so make sure you share the stream right now, if possible, because we want to see everybody watching along. Makes for a great bit of banter on the chat when the whole team are here. Shaby going for a slow lap to bed the tyres in, and then a fast lap now. So Shaby here for driving the Williams. For DTR. Away to the line for Shaby then. This might mean he can't do another lap, but Shaby up to P4 in the medium tyres. Highest medium runner. That'll do very nicely for Shaby. We've got the top four coming out of the pits, selecting in the pits, selecting softs. Now, are they doing that deliberately so that the rivals get faked out here? Rex is coming in. I wonder if anyone has put softs on before coming out for the outlap, just to psych out the other drivers, and they'll actually go on to mediums. Looks like a McLaren for XL is already heading on out the pits. It's our fastest driver so far, Zwiedima, Carmentalist and Russell on the offensive, out on track, looking to try and build the speed. We'll focus on the bottom five drivers who are trying to get themselves out of the danger zone and elimination area for Q2. So Russell hasn't set a time yet. Lots of pressure on this run, wanting to get the host team representing properly into Q3. His teammates in P8 at the moment, probably not safe. But Russell can't think about that at the moment. He's got to just focus on himself. ADRT ahead of him in the AlphaTauri should help with a little tow. Although if they see a rival team coming behind them, maybe they'll weave out the way. There they go, and so does Nathan out of the way comfortably. Russell, of course, I won't get deltas on his sector times, but he's pushing hard. He's using every inch that he possibly can. In fact, I wonder if the neverlastracing teammates are holding their breath as he takes that apex and gets so close to an invalidation. Lots of outlaps starting. It's going to get very frantic. I will try and give screen time to the guys at the foot of the field in the danger zone. Of course, we've got Q3 to watch, the fast boys. Shaby has retired from the session. An accident for Shaby, or a deliberate retirement, in fact, possibly. I think he's in the pits, so I miscalled that one. Apologies. Shaby's retired from the pits, won't get out and back round in time. So Russell, final chance to get out of the danger zone. Wow, a pole position for Russell with all the pressure on his shoulders. Brilliant stuff for the Aston Martin driving neverlastracing team. Beautiful stuff. Car Mentalist has unfortunately invalidated, but he will have an opportunity to go again, although he's on soft tyres, so that's going to complicate things for him. Significant problem. Isaac is on a lap now. He's currently 1:30.230. The time's very, very close here. We only have one driver in the 28th in this session, and that's Russell on soft tyres. It was all or nothing for Russell that time, and he got it. Isaac, a quarter of a second faster than he's been before. Might just get him knocking on the door of the top 10. Currently, he's going to need to gain a little bit more through this lap. Getting the car into the chicane du Nord. Looked a little bit tardy to my very untrained eye. I'm no driver, but it's there we go. Purple middle sector. He's gained another 10th or so. Isaac looking good then. Into Debose. ADRT team really needing a good result in the championship at the moment. Again, if you want the championship standings, go back to the start of the video in between sessions. I do go through it. Isaac bringing the car. Wow, okay, he doesn't want to qualify better. Very interesting. I guess his medium tyre run he didn't think was enough to guarantee him on those soft tyres to get off the medium. So I think he might be just conserving that run. It's difficult when a driver goes purple in two sectors and then heads on into the pits, unfortunately. Well, Khalifa for ART down there in P12 needs to hook every single one of these corners together and avoid an invalidation over the white painted lines where the track is made up. It's good that from a driving perspective that the lines run parallel to the track. Can you imagine if the lines were just a constant stripe across the driver's vision? It'd be as bad as trying to commentate on this one in terms of migraine inducing. Khalifa sprinting for the line then, currently P12. Can he get himself out of danger? He goes up to P4. That'll do very, very nicely indeed. And it looks like our bottom drivers will be Mr. BT, Joan, Isaac, Car Mentalist and Rex. So one of the Relentless team out of Q2. Big news there. Relentless currently leading the championship, and down and out in P14 is Car Mentalist. So currently his teammate Nathan, who has been mega through this session, has through this season, has got in P2. Neo, Khalifa's Redeemer, Henry, very much look a top six made up of the championship contenders, second to sixth at least, and then Leroy with a good time Gelato and Reapers just scraping in for Aston Martin and the NLR team. And while the drivers take their time to retire from this session, I will be right back. Don't panic. Q3 then, this is where the points are awarded for our, the points start being awarded, I should say, for our session tonight, in round 5 of the championship. Round 4 of the championship. I'm getting ahead of myself. We've hit 71 comments. I wonder who will be the 100th commenter on the video. But we've got 32 people watching live, and so far only 8 people have taken the time out to like the video. Please sort that out for us, and if we get equal live views and likes, I'll stop asking. But yeah, make sure that you show us a little bit of appreciation for the footage that we're providing you today. It's time for points, says the boss, indeed, and it looks like the weather is going to throw a little bit of a spanner. It looks to be overcast. Drivers pouring out of the pits early on here. No one earlier though than Shaby, who will get the first opportunity. Just a 12-minute session, and Shifter says Henry for pole. Let's see if that. Let's see if this one turns out to be a good lap. Very much looking overcast certain parts and much darker on the track. I wonder if we're due any rain towards the end of this session. Definitely will be very interesting to see. But Shaby on the attack then, on a lap. Ivan saying wouldn't be surprised to see some rain through this session by the look of things. We've still got some lens flare from the sun on certain angles. And an invalidation immediately from Shaby. Let's cut to a driver that might be still on a valid lap. It's Reapers, just getting through to Q3. Tiny bit of oversteer. Soft tyres now, of course. It's full send time for the drivers. Doesn't matter what they do with these tyres, they will start on the tyres they started before. Mr. BT, just to inform you, Mr. BT for CPI, not happy. He claims to be held up in Q2 I didn't catch it, unfortunately. If you did, let us know. But of course, a purple middle sector for Reapers because it's his first lap. Into this long right-hander he goes. Does look like the track is lower grip. That's definitely going to catch the drivers out. Having cooler track temperatures, they'll have to just be relearning the grip levels, and anybody taking it too easy on their outlap won't discover the grip levels for themselves, and they will get a bit of a surprise in the first few corners. So Reapers then heading for the line. It's a 1:29.035, a nice time indeed from him. One of the ERTs is about to cross the line. It's Henry, but he's invalidated, unfortunately. So we'll watch as Zudima or Neo are about to cross the line. We'll catch that one in a second, but let's ride with Leroy as well. So it's Neo at 29.1. It's Nathan straight away in a provisional pole, 28.6. Wow, and Leroy at 28.7. Very, very close. Less than 2/10 separating them at the moment. Good early laps from NLR. The drivers for Excel will be slightly disappointed with that. And what about Gelato, who on his own in the middle sector of the track here? Gelato then, I wonder if, well, Shaby's gone in the pits. I guess he invalidated, so he'll go and just be slightly off kilter with the rest of the drivers. Gelato in the Haas for Evora. Getting the car through the final sector into the final corner now. Dupont away down the start-finish straight. What's this one? Looks quite quick to me. It's a 29.009 for Gelato. Nice time, but not in the 28 club like the rest of our front row. Look at this teamwork for ERT. Khalifa getting a great tow from his teammate Henry, who I think invalidated that first lap. So doing the favours for ERT is Henry, as Khalifa brings the car into Debose. Now it's Bendor. Not seeing any rain yet. Shout up if you see rain before I do. Penultimate corner. And out of Dupont, DRS open. Little distracting lens flare on the screen, and it's a 29.2 for Khalifa. Quite a bit slower than I was expecting from that driver and the ERT team, especially given the look of the tow he was getting. We'll see how this one works out. That's the first round to Relentless and Nathan, but Leroy with a great time, really saving his best till the final session. Leroy. The likes haven't improved very much, guys. Come on, let's like the video while we wait for the final run. I think Shaby might be out there. He's on a lap right now, so he's going to get presumably one decent run on these softs. 21.8 the first sector. Building up the speed. Nobody in sight to cause an issue for him. Right across that apex. He's not taking this very carefully. It's full send for Shaby. Nothing to lose, really. He's currently 10th. He will be 10th regardless if he manages to invalidate, but the rewards are greater for the points. Very wide into Debose. You can feel the tyres just screaming for mercy. Shaby's on the edge here. Has he taken too much out to reach the apex in the last two corners? That was nice. It's all about the slingshot out of the final corner. Shaby then sprinting for the line, all on his own on the track. Shaby from 10th up to third place at 28.8 and joins the 28 club that has a very select 3 members in it so far. Reapers looking to come on out the pits for his final lap, just ahead of the rest of the drivers. Who's your pick for pole in the chat? Let me know. I will be as impartial as possible. Still no signs of rain on this overcast Q3. Remember, the drivers get points for this one. Yeah, I'm not sure why Nathan needs to report Shaby for anything, but he's threatening to report him. Interesting. So Reaper's the first driver out there. Next will be Neo and Henry. Henry needs a good one. Neo's just it's Henry after Reaper's on track. Some drivers coming out quite early to avoid traffic. Let's see. Wow, Reaper's chucking the car in to the Est de la Vellerie. It's a purple first sector. He's rewarded with that aggression on the car. So heading down, he doesn't fancy complicating things with a little toe behind the Excel. Reaper's really pushing here. With a purple middle sector, quarter of a second faster than he's been before. Wow. Just hanging on, but no, it's an invalidation, and oh, it's not going to get better than 6th for Reapers. So next out there is Henry. As I mentioned before, Henry's in sector 1. He's got his teammate ahead of him. Will they be coordinating this one again? I wonder. Out there on a lap is Neo behind the Red Bull driving ERT team. So Henry, now his teammate's not there. Maybe he's going to wait for him out the Chicane du Nord. There's also a relentless car ahead of them. Might get tricky. Here he is, waiting for his teammate. Doing the favours again. Khalifa. There's a good bit of overspeed. He pulls to one side well before Sanya. No risks being taken. Henry then looking good. Wow, that was so close to invalidation. He must have had the tiniest section of tyre on the white line there on the inside. So 2 corners for Henry to lift himself off the bottom and try and get better points for ERT. Is this one gonna get him? I know we've got a McLaren on track behind him. I'll try and find you that driver shortly. But Henry for the line, and it's pole at 128.574. What a lap from Henry. The XL team, one of them has invalidated. It's with Dima, won't go better than 10th here. Can't get off the bottom of that order with that invalidation. What about Neo though? Neo heading for the line from P8, 29.1. Is he in the 28s? He's easily in the 28s with another provisional pole, 4 thousandths faster than Henry, and that's what we want to see. How close is that one? We've got I think Gelato on a run. Is Reapers on a run, a second run? He is. Reapers going for it here. Gone for a back-to-back, I believe. Reapers, I don't know if this one's going to pick himself up any places. It's looking quite good though. Yeah, P5, currently at 28.8. Everybody joining the 28 club. In fact, Gelato going for it now. It's a new pole for Gelato and Evora. Absolutely brilliant stuff. 28.545. These are the final runs, folks. This is it. This is where it's happening for our esports event. What about Russell? Second place, a 5.58. Wow, can anybody get any closer than that? We've got Khalifa, I think, also picking up a toe from his teammate. They're fantastically coordinated, the Elite Racing team, guys. Look at this. Khalifa then heading to the line from 9th. Pole, another new pole position, this time from ERT's Khalifa, and that is all she wrote, folks. Khalifa just getting it at the death of the session. What a finish! What a finish to Q3, and we've still got a race to go. I better take a drink and wind down a little bit. Khalifa for Bahrain for the Elite Racing Team, a 28.492, just 5 hundredths faster than Gelato, our Jamaican driver for Evora. Then it's Russell for NRL, the host team, in 3rd place, again just 6 hundredths off pole. Neo for XL is 4th. Henry is 5th for the other Elite Racing Team car in the Red Bull. Then it's Nathan, Leroy, Reapers, Shaby, and Zwidima. Look at the international flag representation we've also got in this Esports Cup, but what a fantastic Q3 session we had there. Brilliant stuff. What a highlight. Can't quite believe it. My best learning at the moment in terms of strategy for this race is that the softs will last 7 to 8 laps, the mediums 11 to 13, and the hards can go on past 21 laps, depending on some tyre saving. Wow, what a session. Let me take a drink for a second and we'll have the formation lap for you very soon. Fantastic stuff from our drivers. Thanks to everybody who's contributing in the chat. Fantastic. Love it. We've only got 14 likes still, guys. Come on. Let's have a few more likes while we wait between sessions. Share it out frantically on socials before the formation lap gets underway. Yeah, I'll give you an update of how many comments we've had so far the next time we get one. So we're looking to see who gets the 100th comment, but I missed some of these ones. Car Mentalist, a little bit shaken with the track limits, I think, if I'm interpreting his comment correctly. Lots of GGs coming in for the drivers. Yeah, Cad saying pleasure to watch that one, and it absolutely was. So, starting at the back will be the Haas driver, the Evora team driver Sparks, with his teammate up on the front row. Robbie in the Alpine. We haven't seen these guys for a little while, but Robbie will start 19th, and Black Mamba in 18th position. There's Comet 99's come in. Who's going to do it? CPI's Daniel starts 17th in the Alfa Romeo, then Jackson in the Ferrari. All of these drivers have all these drivers were eliminated in Q1, and of course we'll have no reference points. Have been cold, we've been watching the whole session. Then Rex, the slowest in Q2, again in the Alpine for IRT. Car Mentalist starts 14th, and the ADRT pairing of Isaac and Jones start together 12th and 13th. Then Mr. BT for CPI as well in 11th place. Free choice of tyres, everybody choosing mediums out there if they had a choice, apart from Sparks, who's going long. Then our top 10, Zwidima, Shaby, Reapers for an LR, then Leroy in 7th. Relentless's Nathan starts 6th, and we've seen him put in some amazing race performances so far, similar to Sparks. We've got Henry for Elite Racing Team, the highest qualifying team of all so far. Elite Racing Team also leading the championship at the moment by a narrow margin. Then XL's Neo in 4th, NLR's Russell in 3rd place. Gelato will start 2nd. So close between the top 3 in Q3, and Khalifa with the bragging rights on pole position. Had a couple of invalidations there, but a reminder, you're watching the Neverlastracing Esports Championship, our inaugural championship here, and my name is Webbo. I hope you're enjoying the coverage today, and we're about to get racing underway for you. 27 laps of the Paul Ricard circuit in the south of France for round 4 of the Esports Championship. Everybody ready? The lights are on. It's lights out and go, go, go. Gelato very slow off the line, absolutely bogged down and dropping down the order. So it's NLR up to second with Excel in third place. Relentless is Nathan consolidating fourth place, but dicing with Henry here. Henry running wide and holding on. Will probably pick up a warning for that one. Will there be some sort of retaliatory move coming in from Nathan? No, he knows the race isn't won right here. A little bit of elbows out racing going on slightly behind this group. Gelato down to 8th and trying to recover back up to racing speed, but they pile on down the Mistral straight for the first time, and it's Relentless with a brilliant rise, brilliant slipstream up into Chicane du Nord, and Nathan takes fourth place back from Henry. Khalifa getting away, but not comfortably, as Russell beautifully away. It definitely favoured the soft runners. Look at the top 4 soft runners all up there. The medium runners falling back, none more than Gelato down there in 9th. Sparks up to 14th from the rearmost position on the grid and on hard tyres. Has a brilliant warm-up procedure, obviously, in his formation lap. Sparks doing an amazing job. In fact, make that 13th for Sparks as he builds the speed, as he tries to make up for that embarrassing situation in Q1. Sparks absolutely focused. Joan and Leroy are battling, but we focus on the lead at the moment as they come on through the final corner for the first time. And the cars all within a second of each other, all the way down there to P13 where Sparks currently sits. What a start from the drivers. Very nice and clean. Remember, the drivers all racing for team points. No one wants to be the first one to make a mistake, and there goes Nathan, just using too much curb. Tries to get out of everybody's way, but will have upset some drivers. So Nathan's tripping backwards, and Gelato the same, but it's Khalifa from Russell and Neo on the start-finish straight. Henry dropping back behind the crucial 1 second gap. The top 3 very much with each other down the straight, and we'll be able to pull each other down the Mistral straight here for the second time before we get our DRS enabled. In fact, Russell looking very close to the driver in front. That's Khalifa leading from pole. So currently we have ERT in first and fourth. Big issue for Nathan, who eventually recovered and is down in 17th, but then Car Mentalist down in 19th must have had a problem as well, unfortunately. So with it all to do, look how far back from the rest of the pack Car Mentalist is, and Shaby is out of the race early on as well. Amazing stuff. Drama up and down the field. We will see penalties. I wonder who will be the first track extension penalty driver. Will they get there before lap 3 even? They often do in this iteration of the game around Paul Ricard, but the soft runners now just 3 left at the front as they try to gap the medium runners led by Henry. It's Russell with the fastest lap on lap 2, the end of lap 2, and the drivers will now have DRS enabled for the first trip down the Mistral straight on the 3rd lap here. Sparks in 12th on the hard tyres, is in a great place, a great position on the race, and is certainly within DRS range. We've got DRS range drivers all the way down to 9th at a small gap, and then they're all now joined together down to 17th. I love the fact that the drivers are pushing so hard. Russell with the first opportunity with the DRS, but he launched one down the inside. Khalifa doesn't even defend because Russell has the run, and Russell takes the lead on lap 3 and will look to try and gap Khalifa as far as possible. Looks like we've got some action further down. I can't quite get back in time without causing visual problems for everybody trying to find what's happening down there in the lower orders. But here at the battle for the lead, Khalifa not letting Russell away here. In fact, these drivers have slowed slightly relative to Henry, so the best of the soft tyre grip possibly already slipping away as Russell starts to build a gap and Khalifa starts to struggle in the washout from the back of the Aston Martin. They'll get a small dink of DRS down the start-finish straight, I fancy Khalifa slightly far away. What about Henry though? Henry's got the car underneath him. Fastest lap from Henry. He's absolutely on fire. Can't quite get close enough. Anybody else heading down there with an opportunity? Let's go down and see what Sparks and Isaac are up to. Looks like Zwidima and Daniel slipping back behind their respective drivers as Nathan gets back up to pace. But this fourth lap, we get a yellow flag. It looks like an ADRT driver in the Alpha Tauri in the first two corners having issues. So Khalifa and Neo chasing Russell, but Henry right there on medium tyres. Henry's got brilliant pace at the moment. Reaper's making it a 1.5 for NLR, a 2.4 for ERT, and Excel very much on his own among these teammates. Khalifa, quarter of a second back from Russell. The drivers are definitely consolidating their pace here. They need to keep their harvesting and keep enough life in their tyres. Of course, they'll jump the second we get any kind of safety car. Sparks has had an issue further down. Sparks dropping back down to 16th has clearly had some sort of issue where he's lost a huge chunk of pace on those hard tyres. Unfortunately, I can't see any damage visually on the car, but maybe a spin, maybe some contact. He's obviously been on a mission and pushing very hard. Down to 16th again with it all left to do again. But Russell continues to lead into the first corner after the DRS. Can we see telemetry? Yeah, we'll see telemetry briefly, but I don't want it to clutter up the screen too much. And it does hand a little bit of an advantage to anybody in a party with each other. Henry challenging here against Neo. Henry surely will get past comfortably here. That looks like a nice run, but Neo retaliates with ERS deployment, and ahead of them, Khalifa trying to do a synchronized move with his teammate. They didn't pass either of their rivals on track, but that was looking very close indeed. Reaper's looking to try and join the fun here as well. So we have a top five, very, very close to one another. I think 2 seconds pretty much separating 5 drivers here. Reaper's needing to not run in the back of Henry, who will be slower than he would expect because he's fighting. But wow, Henry getting a absolute tank slapper on in the middle of Bendor corner. Just holds on to his position, but that releases Neo now to focus forward, and instead of being looking in his mirrors. So Neo will get DRS in this train. Henry recovering beautifully from that oversteer moment, and staying well with the driver ahead. So the driver's just patiently putting in the laps now, consolidating the position they find themselves in. I'll turn telemetry off temporarily because it's a little bit distracting, but also it does give strategic information away to each other. Slightly unfair if I'm focusing on one driver for a while. Henry still within 4 tenths, everybody within 4 tenths of each other. Just Robbie with a good trip here. Remember, he was eliminated in Q1. Robbie up to P7 already, and a great start from him. Position change, yeah, Robbie up 12 and has been the man most places gained from the start, and great stuff for him. It would have been Sparks, I think, had Sparks not had that issue. No penalties yet either. Our drivers driving somewhat within themselves at this stage, very much trying to get a caution period and an opportunity to pit for the soft runners. Remember, between 7 and 8 laps is about the best you can expect out of the soft tyres. So they'll be driving a little bit conservatively now. Henry now just a quarter of a second behind. A pit stop from Nathan at this early stage. He's the first one on the soft tyres to blink. I wonder if that was a forced situation for damage. Nathan comes in then into the pits and dropping down. So your order on lap 7 of 27, it's Russell, Khalifa and Neo on soft tyres, and then the medium shod, Henry, Reapers, Mr. BT, Robbie, Gelato, Isaac and Jackson, your top 10 at this stage. Gelato out of the race. Gelato crashing on the way out of Sandboom corner, and we have our first safety car, and that could be very important for the soft running drivers. I'm just going to try and get a view of the Haas issue from perspective of one of the drivers coming up behind. This is on board Nathan's car. Nathan has just stopped for medium tyres, as we mentioned, going quite slowly to stay within the delta, and we won't unfortunately see what happened to Gelato. Unfortunately then, Gelato out of the race, and his teammate Sparks for Evora down in 14th, having gained another 2 places back from earlier on. Lesty predicting hards to the end here, but I wonder if it will only be one driver at a time from a team to make that decision. Russell, Reapers, Henry and Khalifa will need to be careful not to pit too close to one another. Khalifa coming in, Neo coming in, and Henry surprisingly somewhat coming in. I think actually everybody's going to do it. Henry holding up the pack slightly. Yeah, it's a whole club. Even the medium starters are coming into the pits. Everybody in. Look at this. What's Sparks going to do? Sparks goes on by for track position, and he's got these hard tyres, so he's going to be the only one heading past everybody on the track. Nathan won't bother, I don't think, having just put on the medium tyres. And Car Mentalist also on hards. I missed that decision from him to come in on lap 2 and put hards on. Down there in 18th place currently. I wonder if he changes his mind and changes his strategy. But there we have safety car. We're not quite 1/3 of a distance through this race, and Sparks from the very back up to leading the race with lots of tyre life left on the car. Just as that says Sparks in the lead, stop the count. Yeah, just Sparks staying out. So really in the mix. He'll be grateful to see Russell going on to hards there. So NLR both going on to hards. ERT splitting a strategy, and that could make a difference later on, as it seems to be a bit of a battle here between ERT and NLR in our esports championship round 4 tonight, as to who gets the top team honours. Neo went on to mediums like Khalifa, and the hard runners will struggle away from the safety car restart. Sparks of course will have the opportunity to second guess everybody. Then hard tyres all around. Nathan's mediums, of course, they were just fresh before the safety car, so he didn't really have much of an option there. We've got soft tyres on Robbie's car, going for a short sprint and maybe banking on the likelihood of another one. Sparks absolutely hassling Bernd Mailander here. He wants him to get a move on and go a bit quicker, but he might run into trouble. Lightning saying Mr. BT will win. Jav says Carmentis had damage in lap 1. Great info, thanks for that, Jav. And he was forced to pit. But he will obviously get a chance to rebuild his race now, because he will catch the rest of the field. I think the field might be a little bit too spread at this point to go again. Oh, and Sparks pits. Sparks making a decision. He'll go right to the back of the grid order again. Possibly come out in front of Carmentalist, but Sparks pitting now for, let me see, will it be mediums? He's come off the hard tyres, doesn't like them, and we will run one more lap, I think, under the safety car. Sparks then into the pits and out. Well, Robbie pitted as well, so he will get out in front of Robbie and in front of Car Mentalist. So 16th place for Sparks, find himself there, back there again, which was the place he was in after his little spin on lap 3 or 4. So Russell inheriting the lead again after that. I guess not really inheriting the lead, it's his lead really, isn't it? But he'll be vulnerable to Khalifa and Neo on the first restart lap, as those hard tyres, unless he can really put a lot of temperature into them here on the warm-up procedure. Good to see Lightning with us, joining in. I think Lightning, one of our impartial observers. Maybe with slight leanings towards CPI if Mr. BT is racing. Russell with the lead from Khalifa and Neo. Mr. BT up to 4th on hard tyres. Isaac, Reapers, Henry, Jackson, Nathan, Black Mamba, Rex, Zwiedima, Joan, Daniel, Leroy, Sparks, Carl Mentalist and Robbie at the tail of the field after that late pit stop decision. So Russell becomes the de facto safety car and is slowing the field early. So I hope our drivers don't get too close to one another. This is where we end up with problems. 140 comments today. Fantastic stuff. Let's aim for 200, shall we? We've still got 2/3 of this race to run. Make sure you've liked the video before we hit restart, and we'll watch from the perspective of Neo's car. Remember, these medium runners will have a little bit of an advantage, but ERT wanting to get good points for the championship that they lead currently. Waiting now for Russell to go, and thankfully he's not doing any fake moves that causes crashes. Russell, oh, okay. I spoke too soon. He goes now, and that should help him defend into turn 1. They launch. We've got a lot of action down here. We've got 3 wide going down towards turn 1, led currently by Reapers, but with Jackson on the inside into turn 1. Reapers just about hanging on here. The other ERT team mate driver of Henry getting by Reaper, getting by Jackson, and Jackson put out of position and getting passed by Nathan as well. We've got a 3-second warning for Black Mamba as Nathan launches one down the inside. A very unconventional move, but Henry had a better run, but Henry unseated from the attempt of a move by Nathan. Henry turns the car around, oversteer, and straight into the barrier. Double wave yellow. Mr. BT moving up, trying to challenge a place here. I think, in fact, he's defending from Isaac. And Khalifa and Neo, surprisingly, not able to pounce on Russell on the first trip down the Mistral Straight. Here comes ADRT on CPI once again. Mr. BT has picked up a penalty, so has Black Mamba, as I mentioned earlier. The ADRT team coming down the low grip inside edge of the corner of De Beausset. That gives an opportunity to the NLR car, who just goes for the gap. It's closed on him, and Reapers turning around. Unfortunately, that one no good for our hosts. So the top 3 absolutely starting to get away now from Mr. BT, as Neo 3/10 getting closer and closer. Lesty says protect BT at all costs here. But Nathan gets by Isaac into turn 1. That was a little bit safer. A little bit of a bonsai first restart lap there from Nathan, and it didn't work out for the drivers he was fighting with. I can't really apportion blame. It all happened a little bit too quickly, but suffice to say, Reapers tumbling down the order. Sparks is in 11th, having gained 5 places off that restart. Again, lightning starts from him. Sparks on medium tyres now. Khalifa losing the car slightly through the apex of the first part of Chicane du Nord. And Nathan gets by Mr. BT likewise. So Mr. BT's hard tyres not really able to compete at the moment with Nathan's slightly bedded in mediums. Remember, he pitted ahead of the safety car and had almost a flying lap on them, so they'll be in slightly better condition than everybody's box fresh. It's a yellow flag into sector 3, but no drama. Looks like we can get everybody back up to speed. Who was that turned into Reapers? I think it was Isaac. I think it was an ADRT driver that turned in, but he was going for a bit of a gap that was only ever going to close, really. Nathan with the fastest lap of 32.3, I think I read. So Neo and Khalifa and Russell trying to get within range here of the DRS. I think Khalifa's going to have it. Going to have the best opportunity, at least. But he's a little bit slower out of the Saint-Baume corner. A late move, Russell not believing any of it, and apologies for these camera angles. They just give you a bit of empty track just at the wrong moment down here. So Nathan 1.5 seconds behind Neo now, and Khalifa trying to stay with Russell. The longer that Khalifa takes to stay with Russell, the more likely Russell is to be able to use his tyres better. These hard tyres will go through a really tough phase for the next 4 or 5 laps, and then it'll be a nice run to the end. Into the final corner then. Nathan appearing to catch these drivers now with 4/10 since the last time I spoke. Neo's got a good opportunity here on Khalifa, and if these two start to squabble too much, it's going to let Russell get away and Nathan catch as well. So lap 13, Russell from Khalifa and Neo, then Nathan and Mr. BT in 5th, Isaac 6th, and Zadima for Excel in 7th, Jackson in 8th place, Rex in 9th, and Sparks up to 10th. Has had it all happen to him so far today in our race. Just 2 penalties on the board as well at this stage. See, has Khalifa got enough? I think Russell knows how close Khalifa needs to be to make a move, and not too fussed, not bothering to defend. Khalifa doesn't want to see a speculative move tried here. What about Mr. BT? Look, right behind the ADRT car as they go into Sanya. Mr. BT might try to get underneath him into Debose, and we saw how that worked out into Bendor for the NLR driver earlier, Reapers, who, as I speak, gets past Black Mamba. Khalifa able to catch within the corners here, but I think he's running more downforce than Russell, because Russell can really get out of the corners in traction, and his top speed very, very handy. We'll have a little sneaky look at some telemetry shortly and compare the drivers. Khalifa, oh, so close as they head towards turn 1. Nathan now within DRS and has joined this battle. So Khalifa on 48%, about 10% left is Russell. Less is Russell. Neo on 70, and on the least of all, Nathan on 19. So very interesting differences in race management of the ERS system. Now it looks like Neo with a possibility here. Both drivers might try and get Russell. Khalifa on the inside. Russell will try and hang on, but Khalifa takes the lead into turn 1, and he did all the work for that through the corners. Got it out of Saint-Baume corner into the Mistral straight safely, and now will Russell be vulnerable to Neo as well on the hard tyres, or can he consolidate that one? Sparks gets a corner cutting immediate 3-second penalty. He's up to 9th. A single 3-second penalty is certainly recoverable in terms of your race. This is the battle for the top 4 positions on lap 14. Khalifa, Russell, Neo and Nathan, and they're getting away now from 5th place Mr. BT. Isaac and Zadima are battling hard. Lots of opportunity to do switchbacks here. Zadima giving the favourable traction zone outside of the corner over to Isaac. Wasn't able to squeeze him, but he gets DRS and keeps that position. I wonder if that was slightly deliberate before they hit the DRS zone. We'll go down back to the top 4 before they tackle the DRS zone of the Mistral straight again. 3/10 Neo to Russell. but Russell will have DRS, and we think at the moment he's got a good top speed. He has a little move to the inside, just discourages Neo from having a risky move. And they run through Chicane du Nord again. Over halfway now through the race. The medium runners will, of course, need to pit again. I've seen up to 13 or 14 laps on the medium tyres, especially with only a single safety car, and they're not running on the safety car. These mediums didn't run on the safety car apart from Nathan's for a single lap. Sparks with another penalty, so I think that might invalidate quite a lot of his hard work tonight come the race end. Let's have a quick look at penalties. 3 for Mr. BT, 6 each for Sparks and Black Mamba. Position change wise, Sparks up 12 currently, Nathan up just 2, but after having that issue on lap 1 and was right down at the back. Carl Menzel doing well, up to P13 after an early unscheduled damage fixing pit stop. Jackson, good performance from Jackson so far, and Mr. BT as well. Ditto Isaac. And we head down the back straight. A move from Russell just to make sure Khalifa knows he's still there. Zudima and Mr. BT. Zudima getting past easily there. So I wonder if that was a difference in ERS deployment as well. We want to see some telemetry. We can see some more telemetry if the boss says so. So 16 on Nathan. He's been using it quite heavily here. Neo with 51, 35, 37 on Russell, and Khalifa on 30. So it's definitely changing around a little bit. So I don't want to give anybody too much of an advantage by watching a single driver too much with telemetry on. But there's a little update for everybody. Russell on the attack now, has the best of the life gone out of these mediums. Russell getting through the pain on the hards, and a penalty there for Russell and Nathan in synchronized situations through turns 1 and 2. Getting those penalties, it's not going to help Russell. It's probably going to have to double down on this hard run. Encouraging drivers to send it and not be a procession. We have a VSC, folks, unfortunately. Is that for Leroy, who was slow, or is it somebody else? I can't see anybody else heading down the order. I also missed Henry leaving, so if anyone is connected with Elite Racing Team, do let us know what happened to Henry. I did know what had happened to Henry. He wiped out, didn't he? Of course, took out his front tyre off the car. A VSC could be interesting for medium runners at this stage. I wonder if they'd consider putting on different tyres just between the soft and the medium tyre life. It would be a fresh set of mediums if they consider it, but it would be a slightly cheaper pit stop. It's a long hold on the VSC as they go towards the pit entry, and all 4 of our leaders go on through. Someone further back with more to gain might decide on a pit stop here. It might be well timed. I know Robbie put softs on earlier, but there was time for that VSC period, and we go green again, and we'll see battle recommence now. Russell, I think these hard tyres really in the best shape of the top 4. Russell's had electric pace tonight and been very patient with the other drivers. He let Khalifa by without too much of a struggle. Didn't lose 2 places, as it's very easily done. So Russell, I think, having a very strong one today. Khalifa gets away though down the Mistral straight. the first half of it at least. And these 4 cars, the differences are so tight between them. Rex up to 9th, gets past Jackson. Sparks in 8th at the moment for the lone Haas Evora team. Mr. BT currently in 6th, lost out to Redeemer, so Excel having a good run here. Top team at the moment, Excel. Will we see that translate to the end of the race? Robbie out of the race with a DNF and a yellow flag in sector 1. You can see the Ferrari just getting by. Let's see if we can join that Ferrari. No, he got by just there before the retirement, before the car disappeared. So we won't see what happened to Robbie, unfortunately. Robbie out. Russell then. Well, the overspeed was pretty severe and no defence from Khalifa. So will Russell have an opportunity next DRS zone, I wonder, to retake the lead? The mediums, it's about in the pit stop window for those medium drivers, but it's not quite early enough for the softs to live to the end. If we're going to go at racing pace, they need to get 8 or 7 laps out of them at the end of this race. So I'll be waiting for the next opportunity, I imagine. Bit of a interesting line taken by Nathan there. I wonder if that was a snap of oversteer on the way out. Russell launches one into the chicane du Nord, and it almost ended in tears as he took the inside line and Khalifa swept on by the outside. There may be the chance for a slipstream with a better run. In fact, Khalifa defending heavily. Russell ran the outside, tries to switch back into Sanya, but will need to lift as he goes around the long way around to Bose. Can he do it? Very, very different line, and as the cars cross over lines, Russell will wash out. Really closing in. Robbie got a drive-through for speeding under the VSC. Thanks for that, Jav. Good info, really good, and he retired. So lap 19 becomes lap 20, and we see Khalifa still leading. Russell in a great spot here. Hard tyres with plenty of life left to run. I say I've seen over 21 laps completed on the hards, quite at comfortable race pace. Nathan though looking very close here, and the medium runners right in the window now. I would expect them to pit for softs very soon and release Russell here. Russell just can't keep the grip through Ducombe and Saint-Boem in order to launch out of that corner, but he's got a good run here as he's spending away to get the overlap. He is. A good move by him, a good move by Nathan. Both drivers launching it into the Chicane du Nord in synchronized fashion. Russell just saying, I know you're there, Khalifa, but you can't have the run into Sanya. I'm going to deny you that slipstream. But Khalifa with mirrors full of Mercedes now, and I wonder who blinks here. Do they all go in, or does someone risk an overcut? Khalifa, of course, will have first refusal at the pit lane. So let's track him and see what he does. He'll shoot past Russell if he's going for it. He's not. Neither is Nathan or for Neo. So are these drivers trying to get these mediums to the end, I wonder, or are they just waiting for an opportunity to get a cheaper pit stop? Of course, it's perfectly possible. Leroy's running around somewhat at the back of the order at the moment, a long way back on track. In fact, might be at risk of being lapped under these conditions, with the front 4 all using DRS to tow each other along. Jav saying the mediums can get to the end. Well, they can, I'm sure, but Russell's got good grip now in comparison, and he's had a long amount of time to wait. Relentless is Nathan, getting a great run into the Mistral straight. Is he tempted to have a dive bomb on the car in front? No, not quite. Russell getting good traction now out of these corners. Mr. BT moves up into 5th, gets Zvedima back and repays the favour from earlier on. Reapers on the recovery up to 9th and Sparks in 8th, but with penalties to pay. Nathan obviously spent a lot of ERS. He's already derating now as they head into Debose through Sanya. Now they're into Bendor. We'll have another little look at telemetry. So Nathan on 17. Russell's been keeping his powder dry on 65. Khalifa hovering around the 30% mark, and 50% for Neo. So Neo and Russell on more than everybody else. What a horrible camera angle that one was for you. Apologies. But in terms of penalties, 3 seconds for Russell and Nathan. Can they get away from this group and keep their positions, or will Khalifa stay with them? Khalifa now just 1/10 behind Nathan, and I wonder if they will squabble once again going down the Mistral straight. Mr. BT, I think, on the hards with a 3-second penalty. Black Mamba has a 14-second penalty so far, so not going to be in contention for much of anything tonight with that kind of penalty count. Yeah, Mr. BT and Russell very much on a good run, on a good tyre to the end of this race. But can he get away from Khalifa, who has yet to get a penalty? Can Mr. BT catch up as well? So nice to see a spread of all the teams through the top 10, but currently XL leading the way with a good point haul. Closest teammates in our battle here. Of course, the teams can choose from a roster of drivers who to represent them based on presumably availability, but I would hope based on who's got form on a particular track, so they can nominate their drivers. And you see many of the drivers are available because they're watching along. Now Neo with a good run on Khalifa. Khalifa strangely slow through that final sector of the lap. Neo very close here, and Nathan staying with Russell. They need to gap Khalifa if they want to keep that position, and Khalifa's target is very clear: stay clean from penalties and stay within 3 seconds of the lead. Seems possible with just 4 laps to run now, although these mediums are going to get very hard to manage very quickly. In fact, Nathan, of course, with that extra flying lap on the mediums, will struggle first, if anyone. No move again on lap 23. This is absolutely mesmeric stuff, watching these top 4. Very much the Paul Ricard masters of this race, but Mr. BT bringing a group of 4 up with him. I wonder if we might have an 8-way battle on the road towards the end of this one. Mr. BT absolutely towing those guys down the straight. Nathan getting close here to Russell. Clearly he's able to know that he's battling with Russell for this one. Daniel for CPI gets a penalty on that tour. You've got a group of 4, and then a group of 5 or 6 drivers here tonight, and then a couple of drivers who've had obvious issues through the race. Sparks features in P8, but on a worse tyre at the moment than Isaac and Reapers around him. Nathan just can't get the top speed on Russell. Really interesting to know the difference in setup here tonight. Russell, is he still keeping his powder dry in terms of DRS? Not much anyone can do about it now. So Russell on 60%, he really is saving it for the end to get away from the drivers. Nathan has managed to recover a bit behind Russell. I think Khalifa looking very wide there in the corner, and slipping back now. His tyres crying enough, and it won't be long before he's outside of DRS range. What does Nathan do here? He's not quite there with Russell. The track looking very dark all of a sudden. Are we about to see a sting in the tail of this one with a little bit of weather intervention, I wonder? Too late really to make any kind of pit stop on weather for new tyres, I should say. Probably going to have to live with what you've got. Khalifa hanging on here, but dropping back past that 1 second window. Nathan and Russell will take this one, I think, to the flag and battle all the way on the road. They're on equal penalties right now. NLR saying the mediums are dying right now. Our boss Harley. Everybody predicting the death of the mediums. Nathan draining the ERS. That will be very encouraging if Russell can hear that news. Khalifa just about staying within a second now, but with just 2 complete laps to run, Russell having a great advantage, although he has spent a fair amount of his ERS on that final lap, on that previous lap as well. Khalifa with just a tiny amount left there, just hovering around the 15%, and the mediums really struggling, but Nathan is staying with Russell. Can Nathan make this move? He's going around the outside the long way, which becomes the inside on the next corner, but Nathan takes the lead for Relentless on lap 25. Russell with a good run though, and he might know he's got more ERS to use, but does he bother to spend it here? No, not quite. He's happy behind Nathan. It might be better to be the hunter, but Nathan gets underneath him on the way into the Bose. What a move from Russell. Look at that. Beautiful stuff as Russell surprises Nathan slightly with the grip advantage he's got and using every tool available to him. Nathan getting the lead back in a slightly unconventional part of the track. He's got a 3.5 of a second gap. Will he get DRS, I wonder, from Leroy up ahead? I can't quite tell. It's not telling me on the telemetry. No, he hasn't. Nathan running down the inside again and retakes the lead on lap 26. Nathan retakes the lead on Russell. Russell now just 1/10 behind, using the outside entry into the fast right-hander turn 3. They will both presumably get a run with DRS here, and 19% on Nathan, 46 something on Russell. It goes for the DRS open on both cars, so that will deny Russell the impetus here. He might not spend all of his DRS as they go down to Chicane du Nord. Is it better to be the hunter in this position on track with 1 lap to go and 2 more DRS runs? That Ferrari not getting out of anybody's way for Leroy there. Quite happy to cost drivers some aero wake and issues, but this is the battle for the win tonight with Russell. I think Nathan was a little bit more alive to the inside move into Debose this time out, and Russell just consolidating his position as much as possible. He should have a grip advantage over Nathan, and we know he's got an ERS advantage on Nathan. Will he keep it all for the last run down the Mistral straight? Nathan then on 15%, Russell on 46, a tiny squirt of ERS to keep with the car in front, and they go down into turn 1 for the final time then. Who's got this one? This is going to be so close to finish this race off. Russell getting closer and closer. He needs to be really within 3/10 as they come out of the left-hander of Sam Boehm. No, he's going for a late move down into there. That might cost him the win, that move. It might well be the one that costs him. He's lost all his momentum, and now it's spend. DRS enabled. Every bit of the battery being spent here for Russell. I don't know if he'll get it. Will he have the run? He's got such an overspeed. Launches down into the inside, over the inside curb, and Nathan just defending. But Russell with a little bit of ERS left to use. He's forced around the outside. The derating Nathan gets past. None of these two drivers are far enough ahead of Neo, who might well take the win here as Redeemer has moved up. Khalifa has dropped down, his tyres completely dead. Khalifa down in 9th and out of this battle. It could well be XL on the top steps of the podium, who've both driven clean races, but on the road Russell just holds on into the final sector. Just needs to keep this one together to take up the win on the road. Russell getting into the final corner then. Russell with a brilliant drive towards the end. He and Nathan, what a run. Russell and Nathan cross the line first, but it's going to be Neo takes the win for XL. Neo wins for XL, who were second in the championship coming into this race. What a brilliant final few laps we had there. I think Daniel with the fastest lap down in 13th. Nathan gets third. Zvedima for XL making a 1-4 for the XL team. ADRT, I think their best result so far of the championship in 5th place. Mr. BT in 6th. Then Reapers making a good night out for NLR. Sparks up to 8th with a storming drive. Interrupted with issues, but Sparks up to 8th. Then Khalifa for ERT, the championship leading drivers, down in 9th and DNFing. Then Carmentalist with a dogged, determined drive on this race session to actually get the final points of this one. And credit to Carmentalist, because he hung right on in there after massive drama in the first. Outside of the top 10 comes Rex for IRT. Joan for ADRT again, and then CPI's Daniel. Black Mamba will be the last one, I think, to cross the finish line on the lead lap. I think Black Mamba has already been passed. And Jackson 15th, and Leroy looks like Jackson retiring near the end of that one. But wow, what a beautiful race. We are going to do our best to try and get an interview or two for you at the end of this. Sparks for driver of the day. I don't know if you agree with that one, folks, or not. I'm being called out for a little bit of Sparks favoritism, possibly. Yeah, so we're having a possible podium. Russell says no, he doesn't want an interview. Too wound up. Fantastic drive. 199 comments, guys. Come on, let's get that 200th. There it is. Badgerman, I think, with the 200th comment for us, possibly. Badgerman claiming Neo turned across on Khalifa. Well, we'll see what happens in the stewards later, but I have to call it as I see it. And Spark says he was 82% tyre wear on his tyres as he finished that one off. Neo with a win for XL there, just slightly ahead of Russell in the NLR Aston Martin. Nathan for Relentless. He and Russell had a famous battle through that one. What a brilliant race we had up at the top. Then Zedima for XL as well in 4th place. Isaac, great result for ADRT. Then CPI's Mr. BT getting 6th place. Reapers in 7th. Sparks in 8th. Khalifa down in 9th. And Carmentalist, as I say, with a storming drive. I think I'm going to give my driver of the day to Carmentalist, actually, for battling back and being so determined. Rex gets 11th, as I mentioned. Joan, Daniel, Black Mamba, Jackson, Leroy, Robbie, Henry Gelato, Shaby round out our 20 drivers that joined us. And it looks like we're going to hear from Jav for the Relentless team boss first of all. Hopefully he'll be joining us very soon. A reminder to subscribe to the channel, to follow all the teams involved here on socials. Hopefully any team drivers currently watching along will drop the team social links in the live chat. You can follow me on Twitter at WebORed5, and it looks like possibly Nathan might be joining us, and possibly his team boss. Yeah, we've got I think Neo as well. I think we'll give first comment presumably to Neo for winning the race, as far as we can tell. Neo on the way in. Any drivers or team bosses about to join us on audio, please make sure that your broadcast audio setting is set to share, because otherwise it will just be a one-on-one chat with me and no one will hear you. Really hope you've enjoyed it tonight. If you have, please make sure you've liked the video and you're sticking around for this interview session if possible. I think Neo might be making his way in. He's on his way. Let's see if we can speak to him very soon. And I'll try and keep you advised of any post-race chat I can read about. So we've got I must just have a quick word. I haven't mentioned it. I didn't want to bring a right downer on the race tonight, but I must just acknowledge that we're very sad to see the passing of Sir Frank Williams just prior to the race, and yeah, very influential figure, and yeah, very very sad to see the man, the legend, and the guy with the legacy of the often very successful Williams team, unfortunately passing away. And our thoughts with the Williams family and team, of course. They're just waiting to see anybody who might show up. We're having a little bit of administrative issues joining the correct party and not starting another one. Hopefully we can get the drivers together. They're on their way. Neo is on his way. Neo struggling to get into the press conference. He had no such struggle in the race, driving a great one. Passe full of relentless says the battle got him out of his seat. So brilliant stuff. Some drivers readying up in the lobby here. Maybe they'll struggle. Do I have anybody with us? Nathan, have you managed to join? Have you got your microphone sorted? Not yet, folks. I have to stay on the game screen, otherwise no one can hear anything from the interviews. Oh, I need to go ahead and join another party. Okay. Let me see what I can do. So I'll just head away from the screen temporarily, and I will join a party. Stay with us on the stream here, because yeah, hopefully we will get ourselves some voice work. Here we go. Should be on our way shortly. Just joining in, and I will head to the game screen, so we'll get audio, and I'll go to Neo first, if possible. Neo, are you with us? And congratulations if you are. Hello, Neo. Come in. Are you with us?
Neo?
Hey, Neo. Congratulations. What a fantastic win.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Neo. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Sometimes.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Take us through your race.
Well, where do I start? Actually, I start with the start. So it was a good start. The guy ahead of me was on mediums, and he just didn't move off the line, so it was quite close with touching him. So I was lucky there.
Yep.
And from there on, I was just managing the tires, because soft tires were overheating a lot, and the wear was quite bad. So I was just trying to get to lap 9 to make soft medium work. Yeah, safety car got deployed, which kind of saved me. And from there on, it was pretty boring, to be honest. It was just staying in the train, keeping it clean, saving ERS. Yeah, the guys around me picked up pens, which certainly helped.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's about it, really.
You say boring, but for us it was an absolute thriller. We've really enjoyed it, and but the key was really staying away from those track limits.
Exactly. Yeah, it's so easy to get a warning around here with turn 1, turn 2, and other corners as well. But also to keep managing the pace there's a balance, and it's quite difficult to do. But I think I did quite well there, so I'm happy with that and the pace. Yeah.
And did you have any race engineers working for you today with you and the other Excel driver getting the best team result?
Of course, mate. Of course, always. I mean, engineers are quite useful with telling the gaps and what's going on around you. So it's good information, and helps to calm your nerves.
Brilliant stuff. And how did you feel about qualifying today? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, really. I think Q1 was quite good. I think I've done a 0.5, which is my PB, I think.
Nice,
so I'm happy with that. Q1 was a bit tight because I got blocked and almost crashed into the rubble in Q3.
Yep.
So I have to look at it again, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with it.
Brilliant stuff. Well, congratulations on the win and the best team point haul for Excel. I would predict that means Excel take the lead in the championship.
I think the gap was like 7 or 8 points before that race, so
Yeah.
I think
With
we are
ERT
in the lead now.
scoring pretty poorly tonight, that should be good for you. Yeah. So we head to our next race with a new team at the top. Well, congratulations, Neo, and I hope you enjoy celebrating that one with your team and your engineer. I'll come
I
to
will.
yeah, good to watch you. Thanks for the great performance. I'll come on to Nathan next, shall I? Nathan, are you with us?
Hello.
Hey Nathan, how did you see that one? It was an absolute stormer of the last few laps from our perspective, watching along.
Yeah, obviously, quality absolutely bottled it. I love the track limits. But it would have been P2. I think in the end it was 1,000th. It would have been.
Yep.
Pole. So yeah, that would have made for an interesting, obviously end of quality. But yeah, P6 was alright. Obviously got Galato after that. I don't know what happened to him. I think he must have went into anti-stall.
Yeah.
Obviously, me and Henry had a little battle, and then yeah, turn 2 lap 2. Just I don't know where the car went. I never had it before. But yeah, dropped to 17th, and then car after I think it was 4 or 5 people in about 2 or 3 laps. And then pitted, and then the safety car comes up 30 seconds later. So that was amazing. But yeah, and then it just turned into actually quite a fun race. Just obviously passing people because the hards are obviously not good for like the first 5-10 laps, but as we saw from Russell, like once you if you can stay with the medium runners, you'll come back into it. And I mean even at the start of the stint, he had really good pace on them. So yeah, then it just turned into a four-way race and then a 2-way race when me and him got pens. And then yeah, obviously past Neo and Khalifa.
Yeah.
But I think because obviously the pens at the time it wasn't hard fought. And then yeah, me and Russell obviously fought over what eventually turned out to be P3. Or well, actually no, P2 and P. I don't know what happened to Khalifa, but yeah, obviously it turned out to be P2 and P3 in the end. But yeah, obviously last lap tried to pull a switcheroo for the DRS, and and obviously yeah, he doesn't seem too happy about it. But I mean, all I did was just brake later to try and let him through, and he just basically stopped. So yeah, obviously wasn't expecting him to just basically stop. So if he does report me, then I mean it's whatever, but it shouldn't be a penny per way. But yeah, happy with P3. Obviously, commentalist finished P10 as well.
Yes.
Good recovery drive from him.
Definitely, yeah, I agree. I wondered how much contact you were having with Mentalist, or do you have your own engineers?
We're both sat in the party together.
Nice. Okay.
And obviously we had Javier, the greatest Jeff you could ever get, as our engineer. But yeah, I think both of us were good to come back to where from being 17th and 19th at one point to come back to P3 and P10. I think good damage limitation.
Looked like Russell had a little bit of top speed over the rest of you. Does that sound right, or am I reading it wrong?
I think he just saved his ERS quite well.
He certainly did, yeah.
I think Jav was saying he had 60-70% with 3 laps to go, and I was like, okay, I've got to just make him use and obviously just try it. But yeah, I think in the end, obviously, just was good ERS management from him.
I know he launched one into sort of turn 5 and 6 at one point and seemed to somewhat surprise you. But especially on the final lap, doing the same thing, that seemed to be the end of it because he lost all his momentum going down the Mistral Straight.
Oh yeah, no, that was what I meant about that. I just broke later because you can do it at Spa as well,
right?
Going into the source. But I just broke later to obviously let him through and then get the DRS off him.
Okay, nice.
But obviously he then just stopped. I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive away. But yeah, obviously end of the day, it just was better ERS management from him.
Yeah, well, good stuff. It should be good points for Relentless overall. But do you go away pleased at the recovery, or pleased with the overall result?
I think just overall, we obviously don't want to like lose too many points.
Yeah.
But we were never gonna obviously keep it for like the whole season, because obviously like Excel's like so many talented drivers, so like you're never gonna be able to beat them every race. But I mean you've still got I think 5 or 6 rounds to go, so yeah, it should be a close battle between everyone. And I mean like ELT as well. Like if they can actually like get it together, they could definitely be a threat.
Good stuff. I mean, next time we go out for the 5th race to Suzuka on the 19th of December. How does that sound to you? Do you think you'll be racing?
I'm not too sure because Suzuka's interesting. No.
The boss speaks up. Excellent stuff. Well, yeah. I'll move on to the boss because he's obviously keen to have a chat. And congratulations, a good podium in the end as it all shook out. Is that Javier then for Relentless?
Hello, you can call me Jav. It's alright.
I can call you Jav. Great. Okay. Well, Jav, good stuff. What do you make of your team's performance tonight?
Good recovery. I think you can leave it as that.
Okay.
Wow. No, they know. They both got invalidated on the best runs in qualifying, so it was a bit unlucky on that end. But they recovered well in the race. Happy for Nathan to get a podium and Carmen to finish in the top 10. So yeah.
Yeah. How were you reading the race? Was there any controversial moments that you want to call out, or any sort of particularly enjoyable battles?
Well, unfortunately, Carmen's got damage on lap 1.
Yeah.
I want to be Alpha Tauri, so didn't benefit his race. So even when that happened, he still recovered well. But I think he could have finished in a higher position, maybe a top 5 finish. But it is what it is.
Sure. So how do you look at how are you making your decisions on the driver's rota? Are you just looking at their best track performances, or what else is feeding into that decision for you?
Well, I like for them to see who fancies the track and then make a decision based on that.
Yeah.
It was meant to be Carmentis and someone else today, but we swapped with a different competition, so Nathan jumped in for this one.
It's just favoritism.
Well, yeah, good stuff. And how do you manage to enjoy a race like that, or was it just a couple of hours of stress?
No, the race was fun to watch in the front part. Apart from you fanboying over Sparks, well, that's the usual. But it is what it is. No, it was a good race to watch. Really.
Excellent.
Keeping the boys calm and then just finish the race.
Good stuff. Well, yeah, good luck in the next few rounds of the championship. I hope you enjoy the race a little bit more and can be a little bit more satisfied with your overall performance. But good to hear from you, and great to keep the banter going in the chat all the way through. Thanks for that.
Congrats to Neo as well for winning the race.
Thank you.
Cheers, Jav. Well, folks, I'm going to head off now and rest my voice. I imagine, as I mentioned earlier, we are on another short hiatus for the final few rounds of the F1 World Championship, but we'll be back on the 19th of December for the final round of 2021, the halfway point in our race in our championship here in Suzuka. And who knows, because that track has bear traps all around it for the drivers. So hopefully we'll have a dramatic race for you in 3 weeks' time. What a pleasure it's been to everybody for taking part in the race today. Thanks to everybody who drove, who supported the race in the live chat, all the engineers, and especially special thanks go out to Harley for organising the entire thing and keeping everybody satisfied and invited and everything that it takes to run an event like this. I've been Webbo. You can follow me on Twitter at WebboRed5 if you so wish. Follow Neverlast Racing and all the other teams, and we will catch you all on the next race day.